Fasten your seatbelts for this one because this is gonna be a ride. Yo, what's up guys, Sam here. The current iPhone lineup is genuinely confusing, all right? You got this phone down at the very bottom, which is $400. It's a new iPhone SE. Oh wait, I thought there already was an iPhone SE. Yeah, they did it again, but it looks like an iPhone 8 now. In the middle, you've got the iPhone XR from 2018, the iPhone 11 from 2019, and then at the very top end of the spectrum, you've got the iPhone 11 Pro and the iPhone 11 Pro Max. Well, which heckin' one should I buy, right? Because I was wondering the same thing. Like, if I wasn't an Apple YouTuber, which would actually be the right phone for me? So I used them. I set aside all the differences. I found what's similar, and I want to tell you which iPhone's right for you. So drop a like if you're excited. Hit subscribe for more. Let's just go ahead and jump on in. All right, so what do these iPhones actually have in common? Because obviously they're not all individually different in every single way. There's actually a lot of features they share. First up, portrait mode is standard. Yeah, no matter what phone you buy that's out now on Apple's site, you're getting portrait mode not only on the rear camera lens to shoot subjects like your best buddy, but also to shoot selfies for you. There's portrait mode on the front-facing camera as well. It's pretty impressive what Apple's done with like the chips and software in recent history to enable this. It really is like magic. Wow, I sound like a fanboy saying that, but it is genuinely impressive and you can get some really cool photos with it. Next up, speaking of cameras, these all have the same camera. No, they don't, but that's what Apple makes it feel like on their website. Apple says all of these have a 12 megapixel sensor, at least one of them. And while that is objectively true, subjectively, they all look incredibly different, and obviously you're going to get better photos on the $1,100 iPhone Pro Max than on the $400 iPhone SE. Miraculously, and going along with that, same story here. They can all shoot 4K video at 60 frames per second, but the video on the more expensive phones is gonna look a lot better than on the iPhone SE. All the displays have True Tone technology, which dynamically changes the color temperature, either a little bit cooler or bluer, warmer or redder, depending on your environment. So if you're outside on a cool winter day, it's gonna be a little bit bluer to match the environment around you. I'm telling you, like, you never notice it until it's gone, and then you're like, oh man, I really like this. You also get wireless charging on here, which allows you to plop down that iPhone on any Qi-enabled wireless charging mat, which is pretty much all of them, and wirelessly charge your phone without any wires. And on the flip of that, big asterisk with this one, they all support fast charging. So if you have an 18-watt power brick, like this one right here, all the phones can go, I think, from 0 to 50% in around 30 minutes, which is really fast. But on every model but the iPhone 11 Pro and iPhone 11 Pro Max, you don't get that out of the box. So to get fast charging, you have to go out and buy a 18-watt power adapter or higher, where on the iPhone 11 Pro series, you get the 18-watt fast charging brick that allows fast charging in the box. It's like when grandma gave you a stock for Christmas and they're like, well, you know, you kind of have to go to the bank to actually get anything out of this. Couple of other notes as well. All of these phones, except for the iPhone XR, have the Apple A13 chip. Now, you could have a whole discussion about A13 versus A12. Which one is better? I'm going to tell you this. I don't notice a difference between the two. Yes, does the A13 enable more computational photography features? Is it the most powerful chip in a phone ever? For sure, but the A12 is also really fast, and I don't think that that should be something you even consider when you're buying one of these phones. The phones are fast regardless. Think about the processors as an afterthought. And finally, broadly for display technology, there's two types of displays you can get on these iPhones. The iPhone SE, the iPhone XR, and the iPhone 11, they all have LCD, or like Cindy did. Now, I don't really know. It's like liquid crystal something, but it's a really good looking display. And I don't want to make it sound like the LCD looks bad, but compared to the OLED, organic light emitting diode, I did know that one, on the iPhone 11 Pro and the iPhone 11 Pro Max, there really is no competition. Not only do the 11 Pro screens get brighter, they also can turn individual pixels off, meaning that the black levels are like they're true black colors. It's not a screen reproducing what black looks like, it's just shutting some things off. So the screens on the 11 Pros, they're out of this world good. The screens on the others are just great. So broadly, I wanted to get that stuff out of the way just so I don't have to repeat myself and be like, and it also has True Tone and it also has portrait mode. Like, you know that you're getting that standard no matter what. So let's start getting into the differences here. How does Apple actually separate these? Obviously by price, they start at $400 and go up to $1,100, but screen size is the big differentiator. That is, I think, what will make a lot of people say, I want this one over this one. So first off, you've got the 4.7-inch iPhone SE, $400. It is the bottom tier iPhone. But just because the iPhone SE might be a power bottom, that doesn't mean that it's not a great phone. In fact, I've been using the iPhone SE for a while, and I really, really like it. The new iPhone SE is pretty tiny, and it's basically the same size as any iPhone 6 or 7 or 8 that came before it. In fact, it's identical in size to the iPhone 8 and in weight. But if you look a little bit deeper internally, there have been some changes. One thing though, first, that hasn't changed is how it looks, meaning the screen is in the middle, you've got a bezel with the speaker and camera on the top, and whoa, what's that? Did we just spy a Touch ID sensor on the bottom? Didn't they introduce Face ID? Don't they send the government my face every time I unlock my phone? No, that's all made up. I don't believe that at all. And in fact, in most situations, I prefer Face ID. However, with the whole everybody has to wear a mask, I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of nice to just have a fingerprint scanner there. If that's something really important to you and you refuse to use Face ID, then this is your option. It's the only new phone that Apple sells that is great with Touch ID. But there are some caveats here, and that begins with the camera. The camera on here is a standard wide-angle lens, and while photos look good on here, they don't look great to me. And because of the A13, you get some great things like next-generation smart HDR, a ton of portrait mode lighting effects, which I've personally never found useful, and even quick take video, where you can just hold down the button and record a video without having to switch to video mode. And because the sensor itself for the camera is identical to the iPhone 8, the chip makes the photos look better. I'm just not blown away, and especially in video. The video looks okay to me. It's not blowing me away, but again, it can technically do 4K at 60, so it looks probably good enough. On the front of the phone, you have a 7-megapixel FaceTime HD camera, which will make your pearly whites look pretty okay, I'd say. 7 megapixels isn't that good. It can shoot 1080 video at up to 30 frames per second, so if you're part of that vlog squad, your video is not gonna look that great. Again, this is the cheapest iPhone. Don't expect that much. As you go up, you're gonna get more and more features. Oh, and for water resistance, I forgot to mention this earlier, all these iPhones have water resistance, but the more expensive iPhones have more water resistance than the cheaper iPhones. So the iPhone SE is okay in 1 meter of water, Apple says, for up to 30 minutes. And usually you can get away with longer than that, but that's just to be safe. And battery life, Apple says up to 13 hours of video playback. Now, I don't know about you, but I generally don't watch video for 13 hours straight. Rule of thumb is, in this 2020 lineup, the more money you spend, the better battery life you have. And that's just straight from Apple's website. They list more and more hours for video playback as you spend more money on these phones. So while this is the cheapest iPhone and the battery life is good, in some cases, it might not last you an entire day. If you use your phone a lot, and you should probably look at buying something else. This is the base iPhone, and while I have been blown away by what you get with $400, and I think this is the best value, so most you get for $400 or X amount of dollars, I think that is the iPhone SE. For a lot of people, it's an old design. They're not getting all the features they want. The battery life is good, but not amazing or great, and the camera's solid, but not going to blow your mind. So what's next up here for maybe people that are looking at something a bit more? Well, that's the 2018 iPhone XR from September of that year. Now, wait a second. Why does Apple have a 2018 iPhone on here? I was actually wondering the same thing because it has the exact same screen size as the 2019 iPhone 11. So let's take a look at what the XR has to offer. The iPhone XR starts at $599 on Apple's website, but I'll be honest, you can definitely find that cheaper elsewhere, especially if you're going used, and it has a 6.1-inch screen, like I mentioned earlier. It's called Liquid Retina. Don't let that fool you. It's just a normal LCD screen. It looks identical in how good it looks to me as the iPhone SE, but as you'll notice immediately, it looks like a modern smartphone. It has the all-screen design, thin bezels around the edges, and a notch at the top with a cutout for the Face ID sensors. So everything else from this point on, you're getting Face ID. The colors on this phone, though, are actually my favorite out of all the lineup. It comes in black, white, blue, coral, which is like a reddish orange, yellow, and product red. And while the iPhone 11 comes in 6 colors too, I like the color lineup of the XR. It's my favorite colors on an iPhone ever. Not that that should really influence your decision, but just wanted to throw it out there. For the front-facing selfie cam on here, you're getting 7 megapixels again for photos, but 1080p video recording at 60 frames per second. So you'll be essentially twice as smooth looking, like as far as the frame rate, as on the SE. And for the rear camera, again, what I think matters way more, it is a wide-angle lens, pretty much identical to the angle you're getting on the iPhone SE. It has less features in some area and more features in others. Like on video, it has extended dynamic range, but it also doesn't have things like quick take video that the SE has, or it doesn't have as many portrait lighting effects. It has some, and again, it works on the front and back cameras, just doesn't have as many. So it's weird, right? Because the SE is cheaper, it has more camera features, but I think that the XR's camera in a lot of cases is neck and neck. They are so close that I think you'll be happy with either one. Again, photos at this level for what you're paying, so $400 to $600, they're solid and you're gonna like them, but they're not gonna be like, whoa, that looks amazing. It's got the same water resistance as the iPhone SE as well, meter water for 30 minutes. I think the big factor that's gonna make a lot of people look at this phone though over the SE is not in anything else, but in the colors, of course. No, in the battery life. So Apple says up to 16 hours of continuous video playback, which is a plus 3 hour difference when compared to the SE. I started using the XR all the way back when it came out in September of 2018, and it's been super strong from the get-go. The battery life on this phone is so good. It was the first iPhone that I ever bought that really didn't die consistently for me at any point when I used it before the end of the day. And I'm still blown away by it. Like, the XR battery is amazing. If battery life is like the main reason you're looking to buy a new iPhone because the 6, 6S, 7 series isn't doing it for you, the XR is probably the right choice here because it's really, really good. You have to be okay taking a couple compromises with not having the latest camera software, but you're still getting really good photos. You're getting the same water resistance, and you get a bigger screen. That's 6.1 inches compared to 4.7 and a futuristic phone design. Moving on from the iPhone XR is essentially the second generation version of it that replaced it. The iPhone 11 starts at $700 here in the US, and it is a very, very good device. I would make the argument for broadly most people, it's probably the best phone on this list. And here's why. It's got the same 6.1 inch screen size as the iPhone XR before, and the screen technology is absolutely identical version over version. You have Face ID, slim bezels, all screen modern design, but when you flip the phone around, well, you can see there's a big change in the top left corner. Not only is the camera bump now a bump and square, but there's two lenses. The first is the standard angle, identical to the two phones before it as far as what you actually can capture. The second, though, ultra wide angle. And I cannot underestimate or understate how much fun you have with this lens. Holy cow, guys. I'm giddy about it. This lens makes me so happy. You get to do this and then go out to 0.5x. And I have shot so many videos with this lens, and while like the quality in low light is actually kind of terrible, whenever you're just outside or chilling with the, I don't know, the fam or the friends, whatever, you get to have a lot of fun and do different angles that you cannot get on any of these other iPhones. Here's the deal. It's not just the camera lens that changed here though. You have the A13 chip inside, which is enabling a ton of really cool options. So first up, night mode on here. This is the first iPhone on the list to have night mode. And I know you might have seen the ads and be like, is it really that good? It is really that good. I have not been more consistently impressed with a feature on an iPhone than night mode. It looks like complete dark in one image. This is actually an SE with no night mode, and then this phone with night mode. And you can tell, I mean, wow, it's a little bit better, I think. Night mode is really, really fun. You get a whole new perspective that the iPhone prior to 2019, or when these phones came out, has never been able to really capture. And because the A13 chip is in here, you're getting a ton of other features too, like quick take video, a ton of portrait lighting effects. You're getting second generation smart HDR. You're getting expanded HDR in videos as well. I mean, really, the cameras on the 11 are out of this world good. And you might say, well, wait, then what can Apple do for the 11 Pro series? I'll get to that in a second, but essentially, it's just copy and pasted from the iPhone 11. On the front-facing camera for the iPhone 11, you actually get bumped up to a 12-megapixel camera, which looks really, really good. Selfies get a huge upgrade on the iPhone 11 from the XR or SE before it, and you get 4K video at 60 frames per second. So you can film yourself in all your glory in 4K 60, and you get selfies, which are the worst invention ever, but allow you to shoot slow-mo selfies 1080p at 120 FPS on the front of these phones. I've never used that feature. They've used it in a lot of the ads because it looks cool, and you do get that on the iPhone 11 and up. Water resistance also gets a boost here, so if you're quite amphibious, you get 2 meters of water for up to 30 minutes now on the iPhone 11. I honestly don't know if that will make much of a difference, but you know, it's here if you need extra water resistance. And battery life. You know, if the XR was that good and this is essentially the next version of the XR, what changed here? Not a whole lot in battery department. In fact, a very, very small upgrade year over year, only gaining an hour up to 17 hours of continuous video playback. And from my experience, it feels about the same as the iPhone XR. It is slightly better, I don't know, 5%, 8%, but it's not gonna be like night and day. I really, really like the iPhone 11. The main story here is if you care about a camera, you're getting night mode. You're getting the A13 enhancements. You're getting the ultra wide angle lens, which I can say again, I will. It's so much fun. Really good looking video as well. A great front facing camera. I mean, this part, like when you take a photo, lights up, which is kind of cool. And it's in a modern design, and it's not gonna break the bank. It is $700, but this is basically where the kids get off because there's no kids allowed for the iPhone 11 Pro and the iPhone 11 Pro Max. Those phones are Apple's top tier. There's nothing better out right now. It's the iPhone 11 Pro and the iPhone 11 Pro Max, and they start at $999. And here's what you're getting for that. First of all, you can notice a change immediately. The back of this shimmers a little bit differently. This is made of premium materials. Every other iPhone, the SE, the XR, and the 11 is made out of aluminum and glass. This is made out of stainless steel and glass. Does that make any impact on your day-to-day use? Absolutely not. But does that combine with the frosted glass back make it look the coolest? I mean, I don't think there's any question. On the front of this iPhone 11 Pro, you got a 5.8-inch OLED display, so amazing black levels, really good contrast. It's the best looking screen on any of the iPhones we talk about in this video, obviously paired with the iPhone 11 Pro Max because it's the same screen on that one, just bigger. And the screen gets the brightest. Where the other iPhones can only go up to 625 nits, this can go all the way up to 800. So it's a substantial improvement. And for sure, when you're viewing this phone in direct sunlight, you can tell this one gets brighter out there. Obviously, it's gonna drain the battery faster, but it gets really bright and it looks great. Flip it around again, and you're gonna see another big feature for this iPhone. Not one, not two, but 3 camera lenses on here. But I'm gonna make the argument today that that actually doesn't matter and that you should not buy this iPhone 11 Pro series just because it has 3 cameras and you like taking photos. For me, it has a standard angle, well for everybody, it has a standard angle, ultra wide angle, and a telephoto. So technically if you're standing still, you get a 2x, 0.5x, and 1x zoom. Does it allow you to capture more? Yes. Does it work in video and photo? For sure. And do the photos look great on it? Yes, because the sensor inside of here is identical to the iPhone 11. Even though you're spending $300 more, this has the exact same ability to capture photos and videos as the iPhone 11, which is like, I get it because Apple worked on this and they want to put it in all their phones, but even though you're paying so much more, the photos look the same, which makes me not recommend this phone for a ton of people out there because you're paying so much more for just a lot of bells and whistles like that third camera that I use sometimes. But if I could pick telephoto or ultra wide angle, I'd pick ultra wide every single day. The front facing camera on here, wait a second, it's also the same story as the iPhone 11. Yeah, 4K 60, 120 FPS slow motion video selfies. That is on this iPhone as well. The iPhone 11 Pro, however, can go 4 meters for up to 30 minutes for water resistance. So it has double the water resistance of the iPhone 11 series and quadruple the water resistance of both the SE and the XR. Do you need that? Unless you're a fish, that doesn't really matter. Just know you could, I guess, drop this further for longer and it would likely hold up better. So wait, why would you buy the iPhone 11 over this? Well, for me, it's been 2 big reasons. One, the screen size. Spoiler alert, this is actually the phone that I carry in my pocket every day. The 5.8-inch screen, not only does it look the best on an iPhone, and the screen is really important to me, I like that a lot. And I like the size. 5.8 inches is absolutely perfect for me. In the past 6.1 inches, I get used to it really quickly, but if I have the option, I'm always gonna pick this just because in my personal hand, it feels the best. And battery life. I don't know what Apple did. I don't know what crackheads they got rid of in the past to make this happen, but the battery life on this phone is incredible. You're getting up to 18 hours of video playback, yet that's an hour more than the iPhone 11 and 2 hours more than the XR and many hours more than the iPhone SE. I have never had better battery life on an iPhone in my life than on the iPhone 11 Pro. And for me, the better screen and that battery life has made that price tag of $1,000 worth it. At the end of the day, there are not many differences between the 11 Pro and the 11, and you should probably get the 11 unless you don't care about the price and you want all that little bit of extra stuff. Because going into the last phone, a phone that I actually don't own, the 11 Pro Max, you know why? Because it's identical in every single way to the iPhone 11 Pro, but has a larger 6.5-inch screen and even better battery life. If you thought up to 18 hours of video was good on the 11 Pro regular, the 6.5-inch Pro Max has up to 20 hours of continuous video. The battery on that Pro Max is out of this world good. I've decided I don't like that huge display. I don't need that extra battery life. If you like a really big display and you want the best battery life, there is no other phone to buy for you than the Pro Max. It is $1,100, Same amazing camera as the 11 and the 11 Pro. It does have that extra triple camera on there. It is a very large phone. It's pretty heavy. I mean, it's made of stainless steel, same water resistance as the 11 Pro. A lot of bells and whistles on these high-end iPhones. It makes me question, well, what's Apple gonna do in the future? Because it seems like the 11 and the 11 Pro are really similar phones. Oh, and the iPhone 11 Pro, you can also get 512 gigabytes of space inside if you want that. And also RAM, I know you're probably like, why haven't you talked about how much RAM is in every phone? iOS really makes it so you don't need to worry about RAM. You get 3 gigs on the SE, 4 gigs on the iPhone 11 and 11 Pro, and 3 gigs on the 10R. So you get more RAM as you go up as well, but again, like the processor, I don't think that's really that important here. All right, so here they are. I've got them in my hand, the SE, the 10R, the 11, and the 11 Pro. Which one should you buy? You should get the SE if you don't have a ton of money to spend on your phone, but you still want something really great. I think this, again, is the best value for $400. Next up, the 10R. I don't know why this phone is in here because it costs $600 on Apple's website. Yes, you can get it cheaper elsewhere, so maybe look into that. But for only $100 more, you get the 11. I really think the iPhone 11 will make the most of you out there happy. So if you're like, I still can't decide, I think the 11 is a safe bet. It's a good size overall. It's got a great camera. It's got amazing battery life. The screen looks solid. However, if you're still stuck between the 11 and the 11 Pro, here's a question you ask yourself. Is $300 of my hard-earned money worth an extra zoomy camera lens, even better battery life by an hour than the 11, the 5.8-inch screen size, and OLED? Are those things worth $300 to you? If the answer is yes, get the 11 Pro. If it's no, get the 11. And then finally, the 11 Pro Max. It's the same as the 11 Pro, but do you want even better battery life, the best battery life, and the biggest screen on an iPhone? $1,100, get the 11 Pro. For me, again, it's the iPhone 11 Pro. I like the best features on an iPhone because I'm kind of into this stuff and I want to be like, oh yeah, well, I have a third camera lens and really the screen size OLED, that's why I did it. But hey, if you took that out of my hand and gave me an iPhone 11, I would not be complaining. Does anybody else feel like a weight has been lifted off of them? Probably because I'm not holding those iPhones anymore. But I mean, I hope this video helped you out. I was genuinely confused. I had a problem. I hope this helped all of you out. Again, iPhone 11 probably your best bet. All right, drop a like if you enjoyed this video. Hit subscribe for more. And thank you so much for watching. Share this with somebody else if you found it useful. I've been Sam, and I'll catch all you cool cats in the next video.